Hello everyone, welcome back to Sid Scholastic English Education, and I'm Franco Cyril here. We have discussed like the reading a part, and I hope everyone might have utilized the opportunity to get to know about my tips and techniques, and I got good feedback in regards to your scorings and your improvement, and very thankful for that. So here today we are going to discuss the rest of the reading sessions, which are reading B and part B and part C. All right. So in regards to timing, so I have already told you we got the whole 1 hour for the reading session, and we have divided that into like a part. They got 15 minutes, but we are keeping only 13 minutes out of that, and for the rest of like for 45 minutes is actually for part B and part C. So, what we are going to tell you today is actually about the part B first. So, I'm telling you that after 45, so we are taking 10 minutes for the part B. So, how are we going to do the part B first? All right, when coming to part B, we got like 6 questions of multiple choice. And the specialty of part B is actually we got one question and 3 options for that, like to be an answer. And we got a small text or like a small paragraph of a few sentences in part B. So the answer of the question will be definitely in that small session. Okay, that's the easiest way. So I am telling you before I'm going to deal about the questions and tackling the questions, I'm telling you out of 6 you can make it correct all 6 of them, because that's the easiest way, and that's easy once in part B when compared to part C is quite tricky. All right. Okay, so coming back to part B, so when we are dealing with the part B, I'm telling you I got a peculiar pattern which is none other than I'm following like um, we are reading the question first. Okay, QPO, or I would say QPA. That's a short word of the thing, the strategies. Like we are dealing with the question first. So make sure that you read the question very clearly and understand what is being asked you to do it. Okay, so you should be very clear about the questions before you go to the passage. Okay, that's the main thing that you have to keep in mind when you read the question. So make sure you read it how many times you want to and understand the real meaning or what is really they have asked you to find it out of that small passage. Okay, and once you finish that, you should never look into the options which is given or the answers. You have to go straight to the passage or the small paragraph of a few sentences. So read that and make sure when you when you deal with the passage, after reading every sentence you have to make sure you get the meaning in your vernacular language to your mind. Okay, never try to interpret in English, because it's quite actually like if it's English is not your first language, or if you're not that very good with, you see, like we all have actually come from different background, and English is not even my first language and may not be yours too. But people who are really good with English, and those people, it's actually okay for them to get it in English. That doesn't matter. But I'm telling you, like from the scratch, for the people, it's actually quite difficult for them to understand in English. It's very good to get the meaning in your local language. Okay, so read every sentence in that passage and get the meaning to your mind in your understandable language, and interpret okay what is given in the passage. So after reading every sentence you get it, and you make it clear about the passage what they have discussed in the passage. And when you do this, you will be having the meaning of the question in your mind when you read this passage. So once you finish reading the passage, then we go back to the options or the answers given. Okay, that's what we call as like question, passage, options or answers, QPO or QPA. Okay, then when you come back to the answers or the options given under the question, you should never look into the right answer. Your aim should be able to eliminate the wrong answers from those given options. Okay, so you should go to option A, and with the answer, with the meaning of the question in your mind, compare with the passage, okay, which you have just finished reading. Okay, and then you have to go to option A, just match with the question and the passage. Is it matching to my question? or is that the answer they actually want from me or from this passage? Okay, if not, you go to option B. You try eliminating the wrong answers. Okay, so if option A is not matching with your given question, just avoid then and there itself. Go to option B. If it's not matching, leave it and go to option C. But if you feel any matching, just keep it and go to the next option. So your main aim is, when you come back to the options or the answers after reading the passage or that paragraph, is you should be eliminating which is not matching. So when you do that, at the very end you get the most suitable or the correct answer at the very end. Out if you're going to look for the right answer, which is the right option among that, then you will spend a lot of time behind and finally will go into the wrong answers. Okay, so make sure you do this way and finish question 1, go to question 2, the same thing. Okay, read the question, go to the passage and come back to the options. All right, and I told you guys have to read every sentence and make sure you get the meaning in the Malayalam, okay, or in your local language. Okay, so what I was trying to tell you, you go to question number 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 and do the same method, and you have 10 minutes to do that. Okay, we have just listened to the part B, the way of where we deal with the multiple choice questions and its options and the passage. Okay, and if you do that, the technique which I have just told you, you can save a lot of time. So you just need 10 minutes out of the 45 minutes. Okay, because you got the 2C part to be completed for the rest of the time, and for the C part, when coming to the C part we are going to discuss now, we are keeping like 15 minutes for one C section and another C will have another 15 minutes. So for each C 15, that will be 30 minutes, and with this B part 10 minutes, 14 minutes. So you still get 5 minutes free at the very end. So we need that to recheck your answers. All right, so even in your practice sessions, make sure that you do this way. Okay, which is really good for you guys to like make your answers in a correct way to be able to score or to be able to reach your dream grade scores. Okay, so discussing about the C part also we have the multiple choice questions, but we got 2 different passages and each passage has 8 questions. Okay, so the same way you have to do, but what happens usually when people come or when students comes to the C section after reading or after finishing the A part and B part, when they see the big ocean or when they see the big number of paragraphs or when they see the big passage, they might actually get a bit stressed. So make sure what we have to do is in the C part you have to like B part we only have got a like a small pieces of sentences in a paragraph. So it could be like 4 to 5 or 6 to 7 sentences the maximum for one question. So what we can do in the C part also, we can try seeing the C part as small number of paragraphs by looking into, or make sure you take only that first 4 to 5 sentences from the big passage and read that sentences, and the same method I have told before, make sure you get the meaning after reading every sentences of that passage and get the meaning into your mind. So before you do this, you have to go to the first question, get the first question, read exactly what is asked in the question and keep the question in your mind and go to the passage. Take the 4 to 5 sentences of the first session or the first passage and you read it thoroughly. Okay, so finish at the 5 sentences or 5th sentence or 6th sentence. Then with the question in your mind, the first question, compare whether that meaning of that passage or the first 4 to 5 sentences, is it matching with the first question? If it not, what you have to do is you have to also read the second question. Okay, or don't get any stress. All right, so I hope you guys are understanding. So get the first question, come into the passage, read only the first 4 to 5 sentences and have a look if that meaning of that first 4 to 5 sentences or the first question's answer is in that first 4 to 5 sentences. If not, don't waste your time reading underneath or finish the whole session and waste your time. Don't do that. Okay, so if you can't find in the first 4 to 5 sentences, go to the second question. Okay, but if you could find the meaning or if you could find some matching with the first question, what you have to do, you go to the options, and then you will have 4 options in C part for each question. Okay, so try eliminating the wrong answers like the way I have just told you for the B part. Like, go to option A, is it matching or not? If it is not, eliminate the number itself. Go to option number B, then C, then D. You will be able to eliminate 2 very easily, 2 options. And the other 2 is quite tricky, but you have to go always with the meaning. Never try to go or never try to go behind any of the keywords. That will always misguide you from the right answer. All right, so do this. Okay, then if you can't find that first question's meaning or anything in that first 5 sentences, you take the second question, just the question. Never look into the options when you do the multiple choice. Okay, unless and until you read the question and you go to the passage, then you have to do it. Go to the options. Never look into the options when you read the question in the first tense before going to the passage. Why I'm reiterating is actually because you will be misguided or you will be misled if you do this way, because you will always have that options in your mind when you read the passage and you will go wrongly. Okay, so make sure you do this way, which I have just framed for you guys, because I have got evidences of my students are getting a good result out of it. For example, one of my candidates, she was very good with part A and part B, but when it comes to part C, she was getting stressed. I told her to do this method of taking a small portion of the C part, and she was able to clear the reading from that next time. All right, so just this is not just the things that I have just framed. This has been followed by my students for a very long time, so I just want you guys to follow the same thing. All right, so this you can save a lot of time and you will come to the right answers. Okay, so do this way and keep only 15 minutes, okay, for one C part and the other 15 minutes for the next C part. So you will finish by 30 minutes in total for the C section, okay, or for the part C. All right, so please do this method. And one more thing I have told you in the very beginning for my reading A part, like when you do the reading sessions, so you do read only one. If you are a beginner, like you read only the A part, you practice with only A part for 13 minutes for the first 1 week. Then for the second week you do with one A part and one B part, and the third week you do one A part, one B and one C. Then for the fourth week you do the whole reading. Why I'm requesting you guys to do that is actually because you are actually finding out the answer by yourself. Well, the other thing which I would like to discuss is actually regarding that reading passage or the paragraphs. Like, see, I have told you before, for every sessions and every teaching, like you have, whenever you read the passage, make sure that you read every sentence and try and get its meaning in your vernacular language. So why I am actually reiterating again is actually because you will be able to interpret really well, and you can actually get to know about what is being discussing in the passage. I have told each of my students to get practiced and make it or get mastery in that. So how do you get mastery in that? It's just doing like practicing and practicing and practicing again and again. See, you have to get mastery in technique of reading passage. Like I have told you, I have mentioned or I have stressed everywhere, like, so whenever you read the passage, make sure that you get the meaning in your local language. And to get that in your real practice and to get it naturally, you have to practice and make it regular. How you do that? See, for the first beginners, what you can do, whenever you read the passage, when you finish every sentence, stop it and get the meaning. Okay, then read next sentence, stop it and get the meaning. So when you do practice that regularly, it comes automatically and it comes natural. So you don't have to stop. So as you read it, that meaning will come to your mind naturally. Like, say, for example, when you read your local language or your own like your native language, so what happens is actually whenever you read it, you don't have to stop it and get the meaning. It just comes naturally as you read it. So The same way you have to get when you read these OET passages. So you can also practice this technique by reading any of the articles which of your interest, like magazine, fashion, lifestyle, or anything, any of the like your interested areas. You can just read that. Make sure that you get that meaning. Stop every sentence and get the meaning and get trained in that. All right. And one more thing regarding the tips and techniques. See, you will have hundreds of techniques and you will listen to a lot of different speakers or different OET tutors, trainers, and everywhere. And you will get different kind of techniques. See, even I have listened to a lot. So what I have done at the very end is actually, see, you will listen to a lot of technique, but what is working for you is the workplace where you have to get practiced and make it yours. All right, so you can practice any of the techniques, but don't ever practice today one technique and go for the next one tomorrow, because your score may go down. But I'm telling you, whenever you like trying to get into a new technique or tips, your scores will like there will be some imbalances in your score. So what you have to do is get it for a week and see whether it has got some improvements in your scoring. Okay, if you can't, or if you are troubling with the technique, leave it and go for the next one. Okay, sometimes if it is troubling, but if you are actually getting comfortable in that, what you can do, you can get it with you, okay, and practice it and make it yourself. Okay, and there is no point in changing different techniques and trying a very new one for the examination. This is a blunder. Okay, so do the same techniques and get it yours, get it as yours, and you will be able to crack it on your exam day. All right, thank you.